Wow, we have a crazy update for all Tesla stock investors, or for that matter, just anyone that is invested in our markets. We have a new summary of economic projections, and this is a complete shocker. We also have some big Tesla stock news we're going to get into here in this video, including Larry Ellison saying the Cybertruck has undisclosed details that makes it one of the coolest vehicles that's going to be out on the roads. Larry Ellison, if you guys have not read this book, is seen as Elon Musk's mentor, and Elon actually apparently takes girlfriends to his house and hangs out with him quite often. Larry Ellison is the Oracle CEO, so that's pretty exciting. We also have new referral programs for Tesla. Australia news, so much to get into. Let's start with the summary of economic projections. We broke this down for the trading community first. If you guys want access to all of my trades in real time, link down below in the description of this video. But the summary of economic projections, let's zoom in. So the Fed funds rate projected rate by the end of 2024 went from 4.6% to 5.1%. The 2023 numbers basically stayed the same across the board, but the Fed does expect a huge jump to GDP by the end of 2023. These 2023 numbers basically don't matter. There was nothing super big here that would cause, the market reaction. The market reaction is based on what the Fed is projecting for 2024. So the GDP expectation went from 1.1% to 1.5% in 2024, basically saying no recession. The unemployment rate went from 4.5% as the previous estimate to 4.1%, again reiterating no recession. And what's actually interesting is the Fed expects unemployment to actually come down by the end of this year. So this recent spike we have seen in unemployment, well, the Fed does not expect that to go much higher. Inflation expectations stayed the exact same at 2.5% for PCE and for core PCE at 2.6%. But the federal funds rate projected rate is at 5.1%. This is basically saying the Fed could raise one more time by the end of this year, and the Fed might only cut once in 2024, maximum 2 times in 2024, but no more than that. The prior estimate for 4.6% was implying potentially 4 rate cuts in 2024. Let's take a look at what the markets are currently pricing in for Fed policy. Well, as we have went over in quite a few videos now, the markets we're actually expecting the first rate cut in June. And then we were expecting a hold. Well, at least now we're expecting a hold. For September, markets are expecting another rate cut, 32% probability. And for November, the markets are fighting between another cut and potentially another hold. Right now, it looks like 4.75 to 5% is priced in. So that would be a hold from September. So only 2 rate cuts are currently priced in for 2024, and at one point we were pricing in 4 rate cuts or more. So you're really seeing the Fed's higher for longer starting to show itself in the summary of economic projections. This is causing your bond yields to skyrocket higher after this new statement came out. 2-year treasury yields initially up about 2 basis points, 2.5 basis points, and your 10-year treasury yields are, let's see, it takes a second for this to upload or update, up about 1 basis point. It's just not updating as of right now. So this means higher for longer, higher interest rates for longer, more pressure on the economy, and inflation being stickier than what a lot of people were previously hoping for. Markets are selling down. S&P is down about 0.5%. The NASDAQ is down close to 1% following the end of Fed Jerome Powell's speech. Now, there's a couple of points that I want to point out that caused the markets to fall. One of them is the Fed thinks the neutral rate, the longer term neutral rate, might be higher now. So instead of getting back to 2% or 2.5%, maybe the neutral rate for the economy might be 3% or 3.5%. That means we might never go back to easy monetary policy like we have seen in the past. That is bad for longer term stock valuations. The higher the Fed funds rate is for longer, the lower you gotta mark your valuations for companies today. And that is a big reason why stocks are selling down today. Now, he was asked, does the committee believe inflation is going to be more persistent over the future? At what point do we start to believe the neutral rate needs to be higher indefinitely? Answer, it's more about stronger economic activity. Broadly, a stronger economy means we need to do more with rates. It may, of course, be the neutral rate has risen. Neutral rate might be higher than the longer run rate, aka we may never go back down to low rates we were at previously. And that's basically what I just went over. Those were the words Fed Jerome Powell used. The second biggest statement, Fed Jerome Powell was asked, would you call a soft landing the most likely outcome? He answered, I would not say that, no. The path has widened, and I do think it's possible. And markets started dropping on that statement, but it's not his base case. And like I said, markets hit a new low on that statement. He would not want to handicap the likelihood. Quote, that's not up to me. Basically saying that's up to the economy. And he says, you see restrictive when you see it. He also commented on the UAW strike, which could affect the course for the Fed, as well as an oil price shock, the strike, student loan repayments, and that there's no way to tell how much this strike could ultimately affect the U.S. economy. It could be a lot, could be a little, really depends on how long this strike does last, and they will take that into account at their upcoming meetings. Now, the third and last point that is really affecting the markets pretty big right now. There's basically no win here. Fed Jerome Powell reiterates, if the economy comes in better than forecasted, we will have to do more. So basically, on one hand, if the economy does well, then you're going to have much higher rates for much longer. If the economy does poorly, which is not great, aka we go into a recession, then you get lower rates. So if the economy does not do well, we have higher rates for a very long time and likely a higher neutral rate. Or if the economy goes into recession, well, that's essentially what the Fed needs to see happen. There's no good outcome. The Fed's not saying there's a possibility that inflation just goes down faster than expectations, GDP stays good, and we can see a strong economy, and interest rates come back down. The Fed did not say that once. That's what the markets wanted to hear. That was your best possible outcome. So, it doesn't look very good here, but you could say that even though the summary of economic projections says that we're going to have higher rates in 2024, well, we're also expecting a good economy. So what's worse? What's better? It's really up to the markets to decide, and I think the markets are deciding as stocks are even selling off more heading into the close. The S&P is down almost 1%. The NASDAQ is down 1.2%. I think the bottom line, my personal bottom line, is this would not be as bad to hear from the Fed if markets were down here. Markets are trading near all-time highs when we just got this pretty bad news from the Fed. So does that mean markets need to fall to get in alignment with what the Fed just said? Probably, but I'm not going to go out on the line and say we're going to see a massive crash from here based on this new information. I think it makes the markets a lot riskier for any potential downside move, but we've seen it before in the past where stocks can sell off the day of the Fed and then rally huge the next day. Or you can sell off the day of the Fed and sell off even bigger the next day. Or we've even seen in the past where stocks will rally after the Fed and then utterly sell off the next day. So it's very uncertain what's going to happen with the markets. I think you really need to see the market digestion over the next day or two to come to your conclusions. But if you wanted to put some hedges out there, I think that would be appropriate to do so, given the risk to reward looks more likely that we do see a downside move rather than an upside move, given where valuations are and the news of higher interest rates that we received today, and really higher for longer unless we head into a recession, which higher for longer is not good, recession's not good. There was no positive path forward that was really highlighted here from Fed Jerome Powell. Another big catalyst that we are going to have today and after hours is FedEx earnings. Now, we got news yesterday that Amazon is looking to hire 250,000 seasonal jobs for this holiday shopping season. If FedEx reports bad earnings, well, FedEx tends to be kind of a bellwether of the economy. If FedEx has bad earnings, maybe that holiday shopping season is not going to be as good as a lot of people are expecting, and that could be another reason to cause some fear in the markets over the night tonight. So you want to watch. See if FedEx has bad earnings today and after hours. If they do, that's a problem. We do have some trades on FedEx to trade FedEx earnings. If you guys want to come trade that with us or come hedge out your portfolios, link down below in the description of this video. That's what we were using to kind of keep you guys up to speed on what the Fed was saying. We even posted where you could listen to the Fed. So if you guys want to be a part of that, link down below in the description of this video. But let's go ahead and get into all of the Tesla stock news today. Look at this big rally in Tesla stock. Tesla stock rallying about 2% on this news. Elon Musk tweeted about 20 minutes ago, the first human patient will receive a Neuralink device soon. This ultimately has the potential to restore full body movement. In the long term, Neuralink hopes to play a role in AI risk civilizational risk reduction by improving human to AI and human to human bandwidth by several orders of magnitude. Imagine if Stephen Hawking had this. Now, what he means by bandwidth is what he said multiple times before. Humans today are basically cyborgs because we have a phone. Your phone and Google, other search outlets, have vastly more knowledge than we do. But it's the time delay in which you have to type out a question in your phone to get that information. By increasing the bandwidth, that would potentially be having like a computer in your mind. You could think of a question and instantly have the answer. That's much more of a stronger bandwidth, I guess is the best way to put it. So I don't know what kind of relation this has directly to Tesla, but as soon as this tweet came out from Elon, Tesla stock rallied 2%. I find that quite fascinating. Tesla supplier Hota to build first U.S. factory in New Mexico. They will invest $99 million in its first plant outside of Asia in the U.S. state of New Mexico, the Taiwanese company said on Wednesday, citing greater emphasis on regional production in supply chains. Hota, which makes gears and other auto components primarily in Taiwan, said it would begin construction on the factory in Santa Teresa near the U.S. border with Mexico early next year and mass production in 2025. Larry Ellison has unveiled Oracle's next generation police car will be a Tesla Cybertruck. He showed a rendering of it at his Cloud World talk. Quote, "It's my favorite car. It's Elon Musk's favorite car. It's incredible. I know too much about it. Some of it is still to be disclosed." Now, what you guys might not know, if you have not gotten this book, is that in the first couple of pages, it actually talks about Larry Elliott and Elon's relationship. That Elon would, quote, bring girlfriends to Larry Ellison's home and they would discuss business and just really hang out. Larry Ellison is seen as what Elon calls his mentor, this guy right here. So I'm sure he does know exactly what is capable of the Cybertruck. And I think this could be kind of a hint at some really good news about the Cybertruck to come. Now, that's just my speculation. That's what it sounds like to me. But it does sound like this could be the best vehicle out on the roads today. On that note, Tesla has just created a Cybertruck sweepstakes for 1,000 credits. You can enter for a chance at a free Cybertruck. One winner will be selected at random to receive one of the first Cybertruck VINs off the line. No reservation needed, free of charge, and multiple entries are allowed. So if you have referral credits, then definitely it might be worth taking a shot at a free Cybertruck. And remember, you only have 10 days until September 30th to transfer full self-driving capability to your new Tesla. And again, when you take delivery by September 30th. Tesla has also created another reward via the referral program for a Model 3 performance for 1,000 credits. It says enter for your chance at a free Model 3 Performance. One winner will be selected at random to receive a Model 3 Performance on October 6th, 2023. Multiple entries allowed. Select vehicle configurations will be available. Referral program terms and conditions apply. Winner responsible for taxes and fees. It almost looks like a Highland from the kind of taillights in the back, but it's hard to tell from the actual siding. On a completely separate note, the White House has pulled back from UAW strike talks. White House advisor Gene Sperling and acting labor secretary Julie Su was sent to Detroit this week to help in any way they could. Regardless, Fain was quick to note that the Biden administration would not have any role in the ongoing talks with automakers, and now it seems as if Biden has reversed course, according to CNBC. So this could possibly be a good thing. It might be a bad thing. We don't know if this has good or bad implications for the UAW strike and the negotiations. It does seem that Ford has avoided a Canadian auto strike with Unifor union deal. This union has 5,600 auto workers, and the sides announced the agreement, which must still be ratified by members hours before an extended 11:59 p.m. Tuesday deadline. Ford and Unifor declined to immediately release details of the agreement, so we have no idea what was agreed upon. It would make sense how Ford could afford to pay these 5,600 auto workers a little bit more compared to the 40,000 plus UAW union workers that are asking for the same increase. So it wouldn't surprise me if these Unifor union workers did get a much greater deal. And to be honest, Ford can't afford Canadian auto workers to be on strike and the US auto worker to be on strike as well. Australia's biggest bank in discount EV loans deal for Tesla customers. What they have to say is quite exciting. It says, the Commonwealth Bank announced a deal with Tesla on Wednesday, revealing personal and business loans for electric vehicles from the U.S. brand would be offered at a discounted rate on the Tesla website. They said, quote, we're seeing really strong demand from customers. Almost 1 in 6 of our new car loans are now electric, he said. He just said, let me say this again. We are seeing really strong demand from customers. This is a literal bank that is saying this. How can you not be excited about demand for Tesla? Your Australia's biggest bank is saying this. The demand is off the charts everywhere. It's really a great thing if you're an investor in Tesla, not so much if you're short in Tesla. Kia's EV sales have exceeded 15,000 in August of 2023. The company exported the first batch of over 2,000 EV9s. Kia reports that its global vehicle sales in August increased by 5.2% year over year to 255,481 units after 8 months of 2023. The South Korean brand sold 2,092,000 vehicles, up 8.9% year over year. A Yahoo Finance article points out 4 ways that Tesla will pay you back for the price you bought it for. Like all EVs, number 1, Tesla saves you money on gas and maintenance. Number 2, regenerative braking extends your range and spares your brakes. 3, connectivity and over-the-air updates continuously add value. And number 4, they retain their value well over time. That's personally one of the biggest reasons why I bought my first Tesla, is because I was sick of dealing with changing brakes every year. I was sick of dealing with oil changes every 2.5 months. I was just sick of it. and it's definitely been one of the best choices financially that I have made. I also drive quite a bit, so it saves me a ton in gas. Unfortunately, though, I live in Michigan, so there's not very many Tesla superchargers, so I really have to be careful on where I'm going, because a lot of the time your superchargers are 50 miles out of your destination, and you don't want to get caught with a low battery with nowhere to charge your vehicle. So that's why I am particularly bullish on new charging deals when I see them, and new superchargers coming to different areas. My home state of Michigan, if you're not in one of the big cities, if you're not in the Detroit area, the Grand Rapids area, if you're not in those areas, there's not that many superchargers out there. So you really have to charge your vehicle at home. Apparently, you can now schedule test drives in Canada with the refreshed Model 3. This is some of the news we have been going over recently as well here on the channel. Tesla has been producing the Model 3 Highland in Shanghai, but they have not actually gotten the permit until the last couple of days or so ago to start delivering these vehicles. So that's why you really haven't seen any deliveries for Shanghai and China yet. That should be starting here pretty soon. Tesla was making these vehicles, but they couldn't actually deliver these vehicles to China. That's why they were mainly exporting them to Europe and to Australia over the past couple of weeks. That's one of the reasons I do believe last week's insurance registration numbers in China came in about 50% lower year over year at about 8,500 compared to last week. During the 37th week of 2022, there was vehicle registration numbers out of China of almost 16,000. Because they're making a lot of Model 3s and just were not able to deliver them the last couple of weeks in China. So they've been running through their inventory to give you these numbers, which should look very good on Tesla's next earnings. The inventory numbers should be very, very low. And that's one of the arguments that a lot of people have been making, is Tesla has been producing more vehicles than they have been selling. So hopefully that's not such a problem on this next upcoming earnings report. And take a look at the new Lexus. They are taking the front grille to a whole new level, and no, these are not Photoshop pictures. It actually has a massive grille in the front. Let me know what you think about this design down below in the comment section. A massive amount of Cybertrucks, 12 in total, and quite a few Model 3 Highlands are in this little parking lot that are really designed to have been the crash test vehicles. You could see from these other Model 3s, it looks like a couple Model S's in here that are completely banged up, and some of the Cybertrucks over here are completely banged up as well. About 12 of them look to be produced and unoperational, likely have been tested upon, and just sitting out here in the demo lot, essentially. And as you can see, one Cybertruck, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, actually 16 Cybertrucks, my counting was off, that are here that have been smashed up. So hopefully this means we should be getting deliveries starting pretty soon. I'm sure that delivery event for Tesla is probably going to be in October, as we are currently expecting, as some of those rumors recently have pointed to. Tesla's Google Trends data also looks very, very good. We have seen the recent spike due to the Model 3 Highland being produced, and you have seen a halo effect for the Model X in particular. That has benefited probably the most, right behind the Model 3, and we've seen the wait times for the Model X has went from September to October, now to October to November, now from November to December. We've seen the wait times for the Model X increase, likely because there's no inventory for the Model X, and you've seen a lot of sales of the Model X, even just because the Model 3 Highland was produced. And even after a couple of weeks of Google Trends data, it looks like the data is updating today, and you're still well above the trends that we seen at the end of 2022. You're at a very healthy level for Tesla's search trend data. Now, Tesla stock was doing pretty good throughout all of this, throughout a vast majority of the day today. Tesla stock actually rallied upon the news that Neuralink was starting human trials, which was seemingly great for Tesla stock. Tesla stock rallied at the same time Elon Musk made that tweet, but you are giving it all back into the close of the day today. Tesla stock down almost 1%. So not great. What we're actually seeing with Tesla's option activity is also quite concerning if you are a perma-bull on Tesla stock over the next couple of weeks. Keep in mind, I'm very bullish on Tesla for 2024. You could not change my mind on that for 2024. But the next couple of weeks, I'm concerned about the markets. The markets could be quite turbulent and see some downside. Now, if you look at Tesla's option activity, 834 orders totaling $801 million, a very high dollar amount today going into Tesla options, with a positive order value of 37%. Take a look at these two individual trades. Trades worth millions and millions of dollars. Here is this trade, an October 20th 440 put worth $35 million, a September 22nd $300 put worth $7 million, a September 22nd $300 put worth $7 million, a $73 million put for January 19th, 2024, a 450 put. These are very, very, very large trades. And there's another $76 million trade right here for January 19th. 458 put on Tesla. Another January 19th, 2024, 450 put for $73 million. You can see there's a lot of hedging of Tesla positions today. Now, as you can see on a technical basis, Tesla stock did get rejected at this longer term resistance line today. You're holding support right at about 264. If you fall under this, if the markets are weak, target that 50-day moving average at $256. If the markets utterly collapse essentially over the next couple of days, 240 would be the next level to be watching. That's your next support level. Under that, 235, that's where roughly your 100-day moving average is. If things get really bad, in which I don't forecast they will, but that's always a possibility, 203 would be the next level to watch. That is your 200-day moving average. RSI is at 54.61, so quite neutral, starting to curl down. Not a great sign, but again, you're neutral, neither bullish nor you are bearish. Your MACD has been going up quite a bit recently. You're in positive territory, but you're only at positive 1.32 on the MACD. The yellow line is starting to curl down. Not a great sign, but not a terrible sign as well. If you're looking at a forward kind of indicator, then maybe it does signal some downside is to come. That is certainly a possibility here. I would say overall, Tesla is pretty neutral here. Neither bullish nor it is bearish. Again, unless we get outside news, good or bad from Tesla, Tesla's probably going to follow the overall markets, and it's probably going to be a lot more volatile than the overall market. So if the markets do well, Tesla stock likely to do very well. If the markets do bad, Tesla stock likely to do very bad. Let me know your opinions on this down below in the comment section. Do you think the markets are about to crash? Do you think the markets are going to rally? Is this good? Is this bad from Fed Jerome Powell today? That is going to do it for this video. Hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and source your comments, questions, or concerns down below in the comment section. My name is Michael Tyler. Enjoy the rest of your day, and I will see you in the next one.